Alrighty. Hello, everyone. Welcome to my channel. This is an educational channel. And we check into great theories, concepts, and discoveries that you're probably not familiar with because they've been suppressed. A lot of suppressed information out here. And this is a feature that we call the Q-tip of the spear. And I just muse about various aspects of the info war, specifically garnered from some of the tip of the spear decoders out there, at least in my opinion, that I've listened to their podcast in the last day or so. And yeah, it looks like April's going to be a pretty jam packed month coming up. Uh, and probably May will even be more so. But I look for a lot of really good things to be coming out of April. Uh, I believe the boss is going to be speaking tonight, and I thought that the talk was about Iran, um, and I'm going to kind of bet that it's uh, going to be talking about eliminating that threat that Iran is, thereby eliminating the need that Israel has to be constantly antagonized by them and basically, you know, by appearing to be against Iran, ultimately it will work against Israel, or at least, the deep state of Israel, whoever that is, if it's Bibi or whoever that person is that's impersonating Bibi, or uh, whoever is in charge over there of the deep state, Mossad. Um, they want, permanent war. And, uh, I think the administration has got them to the point where, well, we'll participate with you, um, but we're going to draw the line. Once the threat is removed, then it's over. And that's kind of going to be a rug pull, I think, for them. Um, Now, I would just wanted to clarify a little bit. I am really a full control person. I think all of this has kind of been all hashed out already. I think that some of the details maybe and some mop up work probably needs to be done. I'm not denying that um, there are real events going on, and I'm not denying that there may be dangerous events going on that people are losing their lives in. And that's why I feel, um, at pains to make light of it. But at the same time, just the messaging that you're getting from the media is so cartoonish and so impossible to believe that I just have to know that it's not for me. It's not for the purposes of my consumption because, you know, it's for somebody else. And so I certainly do believe that some of the aspects of what we're watching have already been determined, and that, you know, what we're watching are reenactments with, some mop up type of stuff mixed in. I'm not denying that anything that it's all fake, but I do believe that it's staged. Uh, you know, the outcome, I won't say the outcome is not in doubt, but the outcome is kind of inevitable. And, it's like if you're playing chess and you have all the pieces and the other person has their king and one pawn, you're going to win the game unless you really screw up. Um, and it's kind of like that. Um, but I think it's going to be an avalanche here um, in the next. And that's one of the reasons why I'm checking out. I'm going um, to the next phase because the next phase is more important. If the globalists have been defeated, well, that means that the patriots are in control all over the world. And the patriots have to figure out how to proceed. And we're not going to be able to proceed properly if we have a lot of erroneous belief systems and practices and rituals, ways of life, of thinking about life that are not true and that, you know, are not scrutinized, that we have not examined. That's no way to move forward. That's actually a way to move backward. And we can't go backward. This to a certain extent is a cosmic test. And we're going to fail the test if we proceed based on the current belief systems that we possess. We have to take our red pilling to the next level. We have to go inside and examine all of our conditionings and likes and dislikes and emotions. The things that we picked up from our parents and those who raised us from the earliest years of our lives, and that we inculcated through culture from the earliest experiences, public experiences of our lives. These haven't really gone under the microscope yet. We have red pilled ourselves on the more superficial aspects, the Kennedy assassination and the false flag operations and the wars. Now, I know that there's people being killed in these things and, it's not being made light of, but they're not going deep. They're just 21st and 20th century kind of things. The Federal Reserve, all of the fake events that have gotten us into wars. Um, Not completely fake. I have to keep putting in disclaimers here. I'm not saying that people are not dying in some of these events. It's just that they're staged. They're staged events. They're packaged for consumption of the viewing public. But these events we have red pilled ourselves on and said, oh, I lived through this, but it didn't really happen. I watched this happen and I was triggered by it, but now I'm finding out that I was manipulated. That is red pilling, but that's just the start. The psyops, the rug pulling, the um, false flags, the hoaxes, these go back to the beginning of time. And in particular, our religions and our religious books. These are the things that are going to need our attention. And I believe that this springtime, April, May, and June, this is really our transition period to the next phase. I think the knockout punch is going to be delivered sometime before July 4th. Now we have this election coming up. I think that's going to be just a complete consensus. By that point, the cat's going to be out of the bag, and um, we're going to have a real big consensus for a really big red wave. But it's not really going to be red because all that's fake too. But a nationalist, anti-globalist, sovereign type of thing. And there are going to be a lot of people jumping on board. But these 3 months coming up are when that transition takes place, where there's going to be an avalanche of truth coming. But most of these truths, we already know them. We already know what's going on, but we need to move to the next phase so that we're ready when the next phase starts. So we're not, so we can hit the ground running. So we already have a plan of action and already have some expectations about how we're moving forward. And again, this strikes at our religious systems and our, uh, you know, systems of nationhood, culture, civilization. These are the things that have to be deconstructed. There wasn't any type of golden age. There has never been any type of, you know, glorification, time for glorification. There's been a lot of carnage. There have been a few individuals who have done some things, a lot of individuals, but most of the people that have been represented in history are not that. Um, Probably the better person that you are, the less that you've ever been known about. So pretty much anybody that appears on the historical scene, they should be um, a priori considered to be deep state actors, if not, you know, to be proven wrong. You know, give them uh, the chance, you know, to actually be a good person, you know, but don't give them the benefit of the doubt, and and just be naive to it. Pretty much everybody that shows up on the historical stage is, um, you know, deep state actor, at least until very recently. Um, so I guess that's about it for today on the Q-tip of the spear. Like, share, subscribe, comment, contribute, and we'll see you next time. I got a couple more videos to do today on the Wild Tangent Network, and hope to see you there. Meanwhile, have a great day.